Okay. Whoops. I let that sit for a bit. I detest the get ready and wait that you see there, but I do it anyways. Welcome to Get Energized, another episode. Dan, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. Can you guess what the energy drink is today? I didn't tell you. You have to go on.
I don't know. What is it? I'm a Red Bull. Did you copy me today?
No, not even close. I went healthy-ish. It's matcha tea. So there you go. Threw you for a loop because I knew you wouldn't consider that an energy drink. It is verifiably energy. See, energy. So there you go. Kind of cheating, but it counts. It still works.
I got the same thing. Tea. Not the same type.
Baby
Hot
Yoda
tea,
could easily be water. I don't know. Calling you out on that one. So what is the topic today?
So we're going to look at more IoT, kind of building off what we've done in the last couple shows. And this is more towards sensors and asset management. And we have a very good essay here with us today, and it's Yannick. And
Awesome.
He's going to go through and do a demo for us.
Okay, super. Should we just get started? Invite Yannick into the chat here? I think.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Okay. Here we go. Yannick, welcome.
Oh, great. Nice.
You're here live. This is
Perfect.
the real deal.
Wow. So it looks cool.
Yeah. So today, I mean, as we have planned here, we're loaded up on energy drinks. We're ready to get going, sweat with our headbands here. Today, why don't you give some information about what you're going to cover here? Then by all means, get started on the demo.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So I'm Yannick. I'm a solutions architect with AWS, and I'm focused on the energy, utilities, and power kind of segment. And so today we'll just look at asset performance management. So looking at how we can get real-time data from equipment and how we can help in terms of like safety. So I will be talking in particular to with using a particular example from one of our ISV partners, and I do have like a three three
Some
presentation
slides,
right? Yeah, I'll
yeah.
just to create the context, right? So
just a few. You're not putting people to sleep. That's what
exactly.
you're promising. Right?
Just my dog behind me.
Yeah. Exactly.
We have a resident sleeper already. Yeah.
So I'm going to share my screen real quick and
go for it.
Just let me know. I think I'll just go entire screen. Okay.
See it pop up.
See. Just let me know if you can see it, right? So.
Yep, I'm going to add you in. There you go.
Perfect.
You're good to
Perfect. Go. Nice. So yeah. So we will talk about Shoreline. Shoreline is one of our ISV partners. And they have actually built a unique solution. Respect to asset performance management, right? Which I'll just like for us to discuss today. So why APM, right? As we all know, we know heavy industries, right? We're talking about oil and gas and manufacturing. We do have refineries, we have manufacturing plants, right? That they still solely focus, they still have a lot of manual processes. So they have equipments on the manufacture on the refinery floor or the plant. And if something goes wrong, that's when they send someone out to go fix it, right? So um from a safety perspective, that might be a challenge, and also cost, right? Because you wanna, really know about the equipment health, so you can actually, you're shifting from a much more reactive standpoint to a more predictive, right? Or preventive maintenance standpoint.
Yeah.
And so some of the challenges, some of our customers are facing right now is that again, they have just sensors being placed on high critical and assets, right? So because one, you need experts to go actually do those implementation, those installations, right? And it's really costly if you want to add the complex sensors in every single equipment. And so due to that, some customers are still facing those kind of challenges, right? And
is there anyone in chat, just out of curiosity, if when we're talking about performance management, asset management, out of these, anybody has experience in that, let us know and we'll put that in the conversation.
Yeah, for sure.
And also sustainability. There's a big sustainability aspect to this too, correct?
Exactly. Yeah, which and so Shoreline, right? It's one of those ISVs that have actually built this unique solution, right? It's kind of a plug and play, right? So they have proprietary sensors that's software driven. that actually monitors those sensors in those assets in real time, and you can actually get actionable insights in a matter of actually minutes. And the advantage that they provide is, no, you don't necessarily need to focus on the high end critical assets, right? You can actually, most of, like we saw in the previous slide, 85% of those assets are actually unmonitored. So you can have a much more affordable option in which you can still get that analysis. You can get that machine AI ML driven, analytics, and helps from a cost perspective and also from a safety perspective. And so before we dive into the demo, I just wanted to give the overall workflow of how the solutions
I
look
don't know
like.
if you want to share it. Look, your notes are up. If it's too much to change, don't bother. But it's the notes view versus the big
Oh,
slide.
really?
Yeah. No, I know. Once you go to
This
the office, it changes your.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
it's all
why
good.
I
It's all good.
don't
It's
like.
fine if not. It's just if you want to make it bigger, the text is small. Anybody who has difficulty reading it, like if you're on mobile, let us know. But it's a
All
diagram.
right. Can you
Perfect.
see the?
Yeah, there, perfect.
You're
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So I'm just going to show like the overall workflow, right? How the solution actually looks like. So again, from the far left, right, we have, they have this sensor which is built, and that's been installed on the equipment, right? And it comes with, a mobile application, just like how you have the Ring camera, right? You have a Ring camera, you have the Ring app, you can actually self-install that, right? And then when you install those sensors on the equipment, it automatically configures itself to talk to the APM platform on AWS. And the good thing about this is that it uses cellular network, so you don't need a gateway, right? So you don't need to go bug the IT guys, try to get from security and all that stuff. You can just work directly with the operation team, so you don't necessarily need an expert. And that's why Shoreline doesn't actually send anybody to the field to deploy this. You can self-install it by yourself, right? So it's some kind of a plug and play. And
Sure.
then when that data gets in the cloud, right, you can do all kind of analytics, and you can also export that data or access, third-party solutions that you might have currently, right, existing. You can export that data and do further analysis. And so I don't want to waste so much time on this slide. Let's get to the interesting stuff. So I'm gonna
Do the
move over
demo.
to the demo.
Let's
Yeah,
go to
go
the
Exactly.
for it.
demo.
The
Please
fun
do.
part. So if you can see a demo portal, you can let me know.
Yep. Yep.
Can you
There
see
you go.
something? Perfect. Yeah, so this is an APM platform that's been built by Shoreline, and this is actually running fully 100% on AWS. And so it has different modules, which I'll just take you along. The first one is a dashboard, right? So the dashboard section gives you an overview of whatever sensors you have on the on the plan, where they are located. And so it gives you just like one-stop shop on everything that's going on. And for the individual assets, right, you can now dive deep and look into particular assets. Before we get to that, I'll just touch on the alarm section first, because so if you have those sensors collected, right, we said it's a plug and play and you don't really need an expert, right? So if you look here, this is one of the sensors. It's pushing in, data, and it kind of gives you an overview, right? If there's an anomaly that's been detected based on the critical level. So you have high, critical, you have medium and low. So
Can you
based
can
on
you
that,
explain how that is selected? So that's like that's the ML modeling aspect to these
yes,
IoT devices, right?
yes, yes. So the good thing about Shoreline, right? They've built this physics base asset library, right? So for each and every equipment that they've worked so far, they have a set of physics library that has over 5,000 different equipments and their
Wow.
manufacturers, right? So when you establish that, when the sensor actually establishes that connection, it goes through and then try to pick out the specific equipment, and based on the physics models that they've built, that actually creates a baseline, right? So at the initial stage, you have that baseline, the threshold being created. And so when you start getting in data into the platform, the AI ML section actually kicks in right now, so it can balance off the baseline based on the machine learning part. So you have both physics based models and you also have machine learning. And so, from a high level perspective, someone who is not an expert can just look at this and say, oh,
Yeah.
this is the anomaly, right? This is a possible cause, and recommended actions. It can tell you to go fix it, or maybe there's something you need to tweak. But if you have a vibration specialist, right, within your team, you can actually go and actually get more deeper insight. So, for an expert, they'll want to like go into the workflow, and then they can actually drive deep into the data, looking at the so here is kind of a vibration data. So the sensors actually picked out the vibration in three, the horizontal, vertical, and the axial direction, so triaxial, and then you can go deep into it and choose whatever parameters you want to write. For example, if you're dealing with a compressor, right, you want to go check maybe I don't know, piston speed, or if you have an engine, right, you can go check whatever parameters you actually, or which section of the pump or an equipment you're looking at, and so you
Uh,
can actually get
time series.
deep into that. Yep.
So the equipment's very detailed that you showed there. So it's the correct like compressor, the exact model number. What happens
Yes.
if they update their model number,
Yeah.
update the compressor? How is that added to the physics based model?
Yeah, so for that, so the customer has a choice, right? So if they have an equipment that is not in the library, they can actually, so before Shoreline actually provides this solution where you have a survey, so you kind of give, this is the kind of equipments I have. And so if you have an equipment that is not within the physics library, you can actually go manually put the equipment name and all that stuff, right? And it's going to find the nearest closer to set up that initial baseline. And so when the data keeps getting in, right, you can, the AI ML kind of kicks in.
So similar machinery or devices, basically, there's like a fuzzy logic to apply to say it should still roughly be kind of
Yes.
this. Oh,
Yes.
that's actually pretty cool.
And
Yeah.
you can actually manually change. I mean, if you have an expert, right, you can actually manually change the baseline. If something, maybe if you have an equipment that's been running for 30 years, right, it's way off from its new state, you can actually go adjust that baseline, and it's going to pick out from there.
So the
And
more data you have in this physics model, the better you
the better.
understand the equipment that you're monitoring.
Exactly.
And if you see something that before catastrophic failure, you're able to basically repair that
Pick
equipment
it up.
before it hits
Yes.
that point.
Yes.
Okay.
Um, does that have to be a manual process, or can this actually call someone to do maintenance on the equipment itself?
It does. It does actually. I was about to get to that, but now you just mentioned it, right? I'm gonna I'm just gonna go
It's
straight. So
still your glory there.
yeah,
Sorry.
so you have users, right? So you can choose if you want to send them an SML or an email or an in-app, right? So it's going to send that message to whoever has that role being assigned to. So if you're a site manager and the maybe POM X goes bad, or you have an anomaly that goes beyond that threshold, it's going to shoot an SNS message saying, oh, this is a problem, right? You want to go fix it. And they can go take a closer look. So I want to dive into the assets. So how are the assets actually been, structured, right? So if you see here, you have different assets. So I'm just going to pick one. And the good thing about the sensor, right, it has an analog external port where if you have other data sources, right, other data you want to collect. For example, if you are from a sustainability standpoint, right, you want to maintain, the data, for example, or you have some kind of pressure data, flow rate, if you're on oil and gas, platform, so you can actually connect that through analog to that sensor, and it's still going to collect that data, right? So it gives you like a centralized location where you do all of your analysis. So this is an example. This is an external fuel level, fuel efficiency, flow rate data actually coming in from an external, which the sensor doesn't really measure this, but this actually is being collected from other sensors that the customer actually have, which is pretty cool, right? Because now it kind of, it's not just limited to temperature, pressure, humidity, vibration. Right now, you can extend that to different data sources.
Yeah. So actually, question for you because I'm seeing export data up top there. So
Yes.
everything we're talking about are these models and assets out of this here. Is this like underlying IoT core? Is this exportable? Can be imported into it if it's not using that? I guess I'm wondering, how that interfaces into what the underlying
Yes.
AWS services are.
Yes, so this platform uses pretty much all the AWS services, right? From IoT core, IoT events for like messaging, and it uses also SNS. So it uses all on the underlying infrastructure. It kind of takes advantage of the AWS services, right? Because as we know, they are scalable or serverless, right? You don't really need to manage any servers or anything like that. So that's one of the benefits, and that's why they are all in on AWS today. And before that, right, I just want to pick out one sensor. So this is an equipment, it's a compressor, so it has different sensors attached to it, right, based on different
Yeah.
components. And so let's just pick one, right? So here you can actually see it's going to give you the state, the health of that sensor, right? Because we said that sensor, it uses cellular network. So it's going to give you your bandwidth, and it's also going to tell you like the battery life, right? And that's a good thing. So you can actually deploy this in the remote area because it uses kind of battery, and the
Yeah.
cellular network here, it's 4 to 7 times more than the usual one you have on your mobile, right? Because this is designed for
It's
IoT
industrial stuff.
applications.
Yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And let's see. So here, so it's always recommended you actually take photos of the where the sensors are actually located within the asset, so that the shoreline team can actually help you, right? Because if you have a compressor, right, I mean, the question is going to be where exactly within that compressor do I want to put that, right? Is in the moving section, or is it high pressure, high temperature, right? So with the pictures being placed here, the team can actually help you, right? And this is a demo environment, and there's a lot more features in the actually, the well, the actual, platform. It has much more features, right?
Yeah.
And I think there's a 2D visualization of the asset, which, I mean, this is a demo. For some reason, I don't see it here. It's gone, but yeah, yeah, for the I mean, for the production, level, platform, you can actually see the sensor, right? And it's going to recommend the different mount points you want to place that sensor on.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Yep.
So this is
And
all available on a laptop or a tablet too. So if somebody's in the
yes,
field and there's maintenance done, they would be able to see the updated information from the sensor if they've done equipment change or
e-
something like that.
exactly. So it comes, you can use this on your tablet, you can actually use this on your mobile. And oops, the office internet really sucks.
Isn't that great? Yeah. So we work at AWS,
I
and
know.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm just gonna call this to, yeah, I'm trying to reload this, and let's see. Oops, doesn't still work.
It happens, man. That's
That's
okay. Yeah.
that's a pain. Okay, let's see. Give me something. Yep. Let's see
Well, in
if
the
that
meantime, I'll
works.
just ask you something because you're talking about
Yeah.
the 5G and how everything else connected. Like the first thing that pops into my mind then is private 5G and like AWS wavelength for edge computing. Is this utilizing that, or is that extensible, or something if you just wanted to export or change the backbone, or like you get Shoreline and you have the entire network and platform allocated to you?
Yes, presently it doesn't actually have, kind of, it doesn't uses the AWS wavelength service, right, for 5G, but that's something that's in the it's in the roadmap, because
Okay.
that's actually going to help from a performance standpoint, right, and also for
Yeah.
latency and stuff like that. And let's see, so you can, so I just wanted to show. So it has, so if you are, an expert, you don't want to do any analysis on the platform, right? You can actually export that data, be it in real time or the historical data. So you can say, okay, I don't want to do any analysis, right? I don't want to take advantage of all the physics-based model, AI, ML for Shoreline, right? I want to do it by myself. So you can actually export that data, the raw data,
Yeah.
and go do it yourself. So it gives you all that flexibility, right, for you to do different stuff. So lastly, I just have one last thing I want to share. So it's good when you can do your anomaly detection, right? But it's even better, right, if you have a ticket creation system that creates a work order, right, so that the maintenance guys can actually go do stuff. So
Oh
within this
yeah.
platform, that's integrated within that, so you can actually generate you the creation a ticket, and then they can actually take. So it's a central where, I mean, if you have this, right, you don't need some kind of, CMS system in place, or you can actually have these as your main kind of asset. That's why, I mean, that's why it's an asset performance management platform, because it gives you all the possibilities. So I think with that, I've covered everything
Okay.
except there's something that I'm actually missing that you guys can just, is there any question in the chat? Yeah, as of now, which I
No
can answer.
questions in. No questions in, but
Oh,
we're
perfect.
good. That
I,
I have
I'm
a question. I have a
yeah,
question. I'm not gonna let
well,
you get away.
I'm
I get a
thinking
question
people
out
are
of it.
really, I think the audience are really enjoying it, and so they don't even have questions, right? So
Yeah. Yeah, I believe it. Yeah, it makes sense. We end up getting questions afterwards a lot of the time, so that happens. Yeah.
yes. All right.
Um,
Yeah. So
yeah.
just one last thing, right? Again, you can choose which roles you want to set, because I mean, if you have in a manufacturing plant, right, you have a site manager, you have engineers, you have the experts, right? You can classify which dashboard you want the different, roles to actually assume, and so they are actually seeing different things, right? So and that's also part of the workflow. and that actually helps. So if you have multiple plants across a particular area or globally, you can set that in a hierarchy. And Shoreline actually has an integration with Sidewise. So if a if a
Ah,
cost
okay.
yeah
That's big. That's
yeah,
big.
so if a customer already has kind of an asset model, right, using Sidewise, it has direct API integration already set with this platform, so you can import whatever hierarchical kind of setup you have already, and it goes directly into this platform. So it's pretty cool.
That's
No, that
pretty
is cool.
fantastic.
Thanks for showing. I mean, so this is nice because the last few weeks and requests we had from people were to show some of the underlying, um, all the AWS services tied to IoT workflow, right? And like stitching some of that together and some of the more just service to service work you would see as a developer. And then this is showing more of like a workflow around it and additional value add services that come out of a platform that ties this together. So it's really nice to see the holistic story of that and then everything underneath that. This is cool. We appreciate that.
Yeah, because this platform is how it's used in the energy industry. Because we've done a lot with IoT devices in our last
Yep.
couple.
Yep. Yeah. So this is really cool to see. So we appreciate you coming and doing this and showing it. And if people have any questions, they can reach out. Is that the general idea out of this? To approach or to come get some information on the platforms.
Perfect. Yeah, so I'm gonna stop sharing my screen
Oh,
and
go for it. Yeah,
yep,
yeah, we'll do it that way then. Well, hey, Yannick, thanks for coming. I mean, it's fun to do this, right?
no worries.
Really cool info,
Nice.
and we'll have you back some other time. How about that? But first, we get to. I'll let you
Perfect.
go so we don't embarrass you here. But we'll check out. Okay.
Wait,
Nice.
promote more of your
I'm
speaking.
gonna promote more of your stuff for you. Okay.
Yeah,
So hold
perfect.
on.
I appreciate
Thank
that.
you so much,
Yeah.
Jan.
We're cutting. We'll save them the embarrassment. So here's a couple of things to share here, just so you see. Let me make sure I'm getting the right screen for you, so you don't get like an Inception thing going on here. So yeah, Yannick is going to be doing a session on some other work here through Heart Energy webinars. If you're for smarty pants and this makes sense to you, transform water flood management practices using physics-informed spatiotemporal graph neural networks. This will be on October 19th. This is just a session you can sign up for. So
this will be fantastic.
Yeah, this will be really good. A couple speakers here to give the information and what you'll see here, but it's going to go into graph networks and the ML associated with that. The other things we have, if you're in Houston, let me stop sharing so I don't freak out the screen for you for a second. And then there's a couple of other events that are going to go on, and so we're kind of bombarding you with October 19th. If you have plans October 19th,
we're giving you choices.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is
a lot
a good
of choices
thing.
On October 19th.
This is a good thing. Okay, so the first thing, just going to keep it up so you see it here. Sustainability Day. We'll play it from the start. Why not? Give you the fancy view. Of course, it goes on my screen rather. Okay, it's the same problem we had before. But first session here, Sustainability Day. This will be in Houston, right? If you're here in town, please come to it. You can read the chapter here. If you have a QR code, hang that up here. That'll take you to registration page. A couple of keynotes, couple events, and other options to cover some.
And I'll be there.
You'll be there.
Say hi.
You can meet Dan, get an autograph. Make him really uncomfortable and ask for an autograph or something. Do something like that.
I'll sign.
You'll sign. Yeah. And then the other Sustainability Day, part of this will have a Women Reinventing Energy panel, and that will also be here. Seats are limited. They're all limited for both, but they're filling up. So if you want to scan that and that's interesting to you, go for it. Sign up for that as well. Again, both of those are in Houston. If you're remote, the webinar will be the way to go. Get some graph technology here, right? And I will drop that in chat right now. If you'd like to sign up, there's the link. Go for it. I think it's some pretty cool stuff. You're going to see a lot of advanced graph neural network work coming out of that here. Pretty cool stuff. Even if only half of that makes sense to you, still worth going. It's pretty cool. But that is the show for this week. Make sure we give time for our next shows coming off. Dan, take your shot. Let's see if you make it. Was that like a foot short? I don't know what that was.
A foot short. Maybe, I didn't hit the dog though. So.
And the dog woke up. So, but hey, dog. Yeah, that's it for. So next 2 weeks from now, we will have a spooky Halloween edition. That'll be a special. We'll have special effects. If that is something that interests you, we will see you then.
We're gonna have some fun with that one.
Yeah, we're gonna have some fun, right? Again, just a quick reminder: if you need those QR codes again, because that one wasn't up very long, there's the Reinventing Energy panel for you. But that's it. We hope you enjoyed this, and we will we'll see you in 2 weeks then. All right. See y'all.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.